Hello, and welcome to this WebBox talk on 7 must-haves for a high-converting website. I'm your host, Sean Giles. I'm Growth Director here at WebBox. We are a digital agency that specialise in UX design, bespoke web development, and paid advertising. If you're interested in any of those services, please feel free to reach out, and I'd love to have a chat. The 7 must-haves that we're going to dig into today, I wanted to list them out here first so that you know what's coming and you can prioritize the items that you want to find out more about. So first up, we're going to look at optimized page speed, then knowing your audience, great call to actions, quality content, effective forms, landing pages, and finally promotion. These are all core elements that you need to have and have right on your website to make sure that you have a high conversion rate and you can generate those leads. So let's get cracking. Number 1 is optimized page speed. So why is optimized page speed important? It improves the overall user experience of your website. We've all been on websites where it takes 3, 5, 7, maybe even longer seconds to load, and the feeling is of just frustration. You know, if you're waiting longer than 3 to 5 seconds for a website to load, likelihood is you're going to look for another website where they go back to a search result and look for a competitor or look for someone else that can serve your need, whether that's finding information, buying a product, booking a service, whatever that might be. You're going to abandon that. And it's not just the initial load time of the website as well. It's the load time between pages and as people are navigating around your website. So it affects the whole user journey and that whole user experience. And the faster you can have your page load time work on your website, the better that user journey and user experience will be. It also affects things like your Google search results and when Google are indexing. So it's from both a user perspective and from a system perspective. Now, we highlight Google because they still have the largest market share of search engines. It's something like 93% of all searches go through Google. And they still say that relevance of content is the main factor in their search rankings association, but speed is also one of the very high factors in that as well. And also when they index your website, which means when they look at your content and give context to it for search results, they're moving towards a mobile indexing option. So rather than looking at a desktop site, they'll look at your mobile site. And when obviously they're looking at the mobile site, speed will come into play with that. And they also look at the speed on various different connections. So it'll give you kind of an average speed. So whereas people on desktop devices typically will be plugged into kind of Wi-Fi and faster connections, it can be much more variable on mobile. So it's really important that you get that speed to work across both desktop and mobile to make sure that you are ranking highly on Google. And also when your site is being indexed, it's getting all that content and giving you a good score out the back of it. We always say to sort of aim for less than 2 seconds for a page load time, or if you're using the Google Page Speed Insights test, you want to aim for a score which is 80 or above. As a stat, just to show the importance of this speed, 25% of users will abandon a website if it takes more than 4 seconds to load, and every second above 4 seconds for the load time, your conversion rate reduces by 7%. So from a conversion point of view, it's really, really important that this is something that you focus on and get right on your website. So moving on to number 2, knowing your audience. So obviously this is a big thing in terms of your audience specifically, but also your specific target audience. So it's understanding your customers from a demographic point of view. So where are they geographically? What age are they? What age range do they fall under? What are their kind of general interests? Do you have an ideal client profile that you can use and put together based on these findings, so that you know when you're putting content together, when you're putting your website together, it is designed specifically for that target audience. And again, that user experience is going to be good. That user journey is right. Whether you're selling a service, providing information, or selling products, you want to make sure that it's targeted for your audience. One of the things with knowing your audience as well is highlighting the problems you solve. So, from a customer perspective, when they come to your website, they want to know that the kind of the reason that they should use you, essentially. So, what makes you more valuable than your competitors? Why should a customer use you? And by highlighting the problems that you solve and the challenges that you can overcome for your customers, it means they can relate to that content and relate to you as a business more, and see the benefits of why they should use you again over your kind of competitors, and other businesses. And then make sure you're doing research and analysis. So this includes researching your competitors. What are they doing? What are they putting on their website? What kind of content are they putting out? How do they present themselves? So that you can look at that and learn from what they are also doing. And the analysis side is whether you're again selling a service or a product. Have a look at reviews. So go on to Google, go on to Amazon, go on to TripAdvisor. Have a look at what people are saying about your service, about your competitors' services or products, and the sort of things that they are looking for within that service or product. So it could be, they want a better customer experience. They might want faster delivery times. They might want more competitive pricing. So looking at these things and the kind of frustrations that users are having in your kind of sector or in your business will just allow you to adjust what you're doing as a business, so that you can target them and meet their needs. Number 3 is great calls to action. So call to actions, these are something that you should have by default on your website and throughout the website and user journey. And on your call to actions, you want to make sure you're using clear and direct language. And that means the text that you use on a call to action, whether it's a button, whether it's a piece of text or on an image or whatever it might be, you describe clearly what the outcome is going to be if the user interacts with it. So if you have a button, say, and it just says click here or read more, or even just download, it's not necessarily telling the user exactly what the outcome is going to be. You want to make sure that you use more direct language, things like click here to find out more about X service, or start a free trial, or sign up here, so that again it's clear where the user is going to go, and they'll be more confident in clicking that to achieve that action. Use a variation of different types of call to actions as well. So when people come to your website, they're all typically going to be in different stages of the sales funnel. So you may have call to actions which are to either download a resource or find out some more information for people that are kind of in the top of your sales funnel. But for people who are further down the sales funnel, maybe they're return visitors, they may be more interested in a get in touch or a book a meeting, or finding out more about you as a business and a service. So make sure you've got that variation of different types, so that you cater for all the users that are coming to your website. And then finally, personalization. So I saw a study by HubSpot which showed that personalized call to actions have a 200% higher conversion rate than a standard call to action. So this can be as simple as, if you know somebody is returning to your website, you may show a different call to action as to when they first visited your website. So say you are in financial services. If someone, the first time they come to your website, it may be a softer call to action, which is something like 3 tips on how to save money. And then the second or third time that person returns to the website, you know that they've been before, you could change that call to action to something more like book a consultation or get in touch. So it's, they're further down the funnel, they've come, they've returned, they're interested in what you are as a business and what you put out. So they're more likely to convert. So it's kind of trying to guide them through that process. It could also work as well in terms of if people are logging into your website as well. If you've got that detail behind them, then obviously you can personalize call to actions exactly around them. You could use their name. You could use much more personal details around the call to actions to try and encourage them to interact. Number 4 is quality content. So the old adage comes out with content, which is always quality over quantity. So you want to make sure you're not just putting out loads and loads of content which is of either little value or no use to your target audience. Again, if we know our audience, we know the kind of content and the kind of things that they're going to find valuable, they're going to find useful. So make sure that you're putting out that quality content that they can interact with and engage with. You want to make sure your content is clear, actionable, resourceful, and engaging. So making it clear, make it easy to kind of digest, easy to read. You don't want to bamboozle anybody with kind of jargon and making it too complicated to understand. You want to make sure it's actionable. So if you're giving advice or you're giving insight into maybe technologies, maybe how to save money, it may be all sorts of different things. Make sure there are kind of steps that the user can take to put this advice into practice in their own daily lives. Make sure it's resourceful. So, in terms of if you've referenced a study that's happened, like I mentioned, the HubSpot one, link to that study so that you can show that the insights that you're bringing, the information that you're providing has kind of a reliable source. And it's not just something that you've obviously made up. It builds credibility, and it shows that you're trying to provide information which is going to be beneficial for your users, and then make it engaging. So with content, you want to make sure from a base level that it's structured well. So the good use of headings, paragraphs, imagery, quotes. Make sure that it's laid out and reads nicely as a piece of text itself, but also relate it back to the user. So again, like we said, knowing users' problems, how this piece of content can benefit the user and help them. So make it engage and make it relevant to them. And then again, like with the call to actions, use personalized content. So this could be from a fact of, again, if somebody is a return visitor to the website, you may show them slightly different content, but also from a geographical location point of view. So if somebody is from the UK or from Europe or from a specific part of the UK, it may be that you show a slightly different call to action or slightly different blog posts are recommended to them. It could be that you're doing events around the country, much like Marketing Showcase do. So it could be that when somebody comes to your website from a certain location, you show them the event which is in their location rather than the one which is on the other side of the country. So this kind of personalized content, it's much more relevant to that user, and websites are doing this more and more. So it's because it's more relevant, they're more likely to be interested and then more likely to convert and submit their details. Number 5 is effective forms. So with forms, I'm sure we've all kind of come across this in the past, where you go onto a website, you go to sign up, or you go to get in touch, and the form has 20 fields in it, or multiple steps, or it just looks quite daunting. It's quite big and puts you off. So make sure you're just asking for the essential information when you are presenting a form to somebody. If it's a get in touch form, that might just be name, email, phone, message. And not all those necessarily need to be mandatory. You might just need name and email so that you can get back in touch with that person. But obviously also you might want to make phone number mandatory so you can give them a ring. But it's just making sure that there's as little barrier as possible for them getting in touch with you. It could also be from a sign up form perspective. You just need to put in an email address, name, and password. Just make it really simple. You don't need at that stage to collect lots of different information, like whether it's address or preferences or all sorts of things like that. Just keep it simple. Timing is also a big thing for your forms. So if somebody maybe on an e-com solution is making a purchase, you don't necessarily want them to, or ideally, have to kind of sign up to the process or create an account before they can make the purchase. So if somebody is going through the checkout process, then either once they've made that purchase, then you can say, would you like to create an account now? Or during that process, you could show show a very simple form for them to create an account, which obviously will hopefully benefit them in the long run if they come back as a return customer. And it also helps you in terms of gathering that data as well. And then the last point is progressive lead form. So this is something which is, I guess, a newer technology in the last few years, and it helps with the essential information part of this topic. So a progressive lead form just means that you can, when somebody initially comes to your website, you may have a form which is simply for them to put in their name and their email. So it might be like signing up to a newsletter or something that they can kind of interact with and give you that detail. Once they've submitted that, when you see that they return to the website, it could say, "Hey, Sean, thanks for coming back to the website," and you may ask about what industry they are in or what services they're interested in. And because you're not asking for all the information at the start, they're more likely to fill in these smaller bits of information. And also, it leads into that personalized content piece. So as they come back to the website, they see their name or their detail shown back to them, and that you're interested in them and you want to find out a bit more about them so that you can help service them better. So they're more likely to give you that information. Number 6 is landing pages. So this is a topic unto itself, but we will cover it as part of this as well. So landing pages are a kind of a huge part of a website, and you should always make sure you have landing pages as part of any website and as part of any kind of marketing campaign as well. With the landing pages, typically you have 2 different types of landing page. These are lead generation or click-through pages. The lead generation type, it means that it's typically people that are higher up in the funnel. So they may have found you on a Google search result. And the landing page they land on is about a service or about a product or about something that they might be interested in. Now, on that kind of landing page, you're going to want to put things like the benefits of your product or service, as well as a simple form. Again, talking about forms. As we just have, a simple form that someone can enter their details in. It might be that they download a resource, or they gain something. It could be an offer. They gain something out of giving you their details, and that means that obviously you've got that information then, and hopefully you've got that lead that you can turn into a conversion. Then from a click-through point of view, it's typically someone who's further down in the sales funnel. So you might already have their details. You might send them out an email marketing, a marketing email, sorry. And when they click on a link through, it's giving them an offer. So it's more, rather than having the form there, you've already got their information. It may be that they see the benefits of whatever it is you're selling, and then they can click through to either gain that offer or sign up to an account and go through the checkout process. The 5 previous points that we've just discussed, they are all completely relevant on a landing page as well. So things like optimizing your page speed. You want to make sure that landing pages load fast like the rest of your website. Knowing your audience. So again, tailoring the content to the audience and to even the specific type of people that you're going to send to this landing page, making sure that that everything is considered for them on the page. Having quality content, so making sure that the content again is relevant to it. Having a really good call to actions, so making sure they kind of repeat through, and the user knows where they need to go, what the next steps are on the landing page, and having simple forms, having effective forms on the page if it's a lead generation form, a landing page especially. But yeah, all those 5 things come into an effective landing page as they would a whole website. And you can really create a unique experience. So like I say, where you're sending specific people to these landing pages, it may be that you've got a certain kind of persona, a certain, again, ideal customer profile that you are going to be sending to a specific landing page. You can really tailor that towards them. It may be that you've already got their information, so you can address it specifically to them when they come to the page, and you can just create that bit of a unique experience. It feels like you're a bit more valued as a customer, and it's been tailored for you. So again, it's going to increase that conversion rate and likelihood of somebody interacting with your content. Then finally, number 7 is promotion. So all the previous 6 things that we've talked about are all really key things that you need to implement in terms of increasing your conversion rates on your website. But also, you need to make sure you have the visitors to your website. So one thing that we always talk about with our clients and with prospects is that you need to make sure that you have a very good website and a very good kind of marketing campaign, a very good promotion of that website, because you could have the best website in the world. But if nobody's actually going there, then obviously you're not going to get the volume that you need. And you could have the best marketing campaign in the world, but if your website usability is bad, or the speed is slow, or the content's not great, or you don't have very good landing pages, then you're not going to make those conversions. So you want to make sure both of them are working in tandem. And you're getting the visitors to the website. Now, saying that you want volume is great, but also you need to make sure you're driving relevant traffic to the website. So again, as we talked about with the kind of landing pages, you want to be kind of super specific in terms of who you're sending to and what kind of experience you're giving people on that. So in terms of things like PPC campaigns, you can target very specifically things like location, things like the age of the customer, things like their kind of household income, all these kind of things that you can look at to make sure that you are driving relevant traffic to you that are going to be more effective leads. So it's not, as most people will get, you will have a lead which maybe isn't suitable for your business, or it might not be the right time, or they're just not in the market at the minute for it. So you want to make sure you are getting the traffic, but you're getting the right traffic coming to the website as well. Within PPC campaigns as well, we also at WebBox work on and recommend programmatic advertising. So this is a different channel which is similar to kind of Google Display, but in a much kind of like broader sense, and it allows you to tap into much more detailed data. So we can look at things like Boots Club Card, Tesco Club Card, all this kind of data to very, very niche target people that you're interested in. So it could be that, again, looking at household income, looking at they're interested in rugby, looking at where their location is, all these kind of things to really target down and make sure that you are putting your product and putting your adverts in front of the right people that are going to return for you in your business. So in summary, the 7 must-haves for a high converting website are optimizing your page speed, making sure that you're getting it as fast as possible, preferably below 2 seconds, or a score of above 80 on the Google Page Speed Insights test. Knowing your audience, so making sure that you've got an ideal customer profile, you're doing your research, you're looking at their kind of like pain points and problems and how you can solve those as a business. Having great call to actions on your website. So whether that's making sure that you've got a nice variation of different people in the sales funnel call to actions, or making them personalized, making sure that you're using the right command in text. You want to make sure that that is being implemented across the website. Having quality content, so using things like knowing your audience and adding value to the content, making sure it's engaging and actionable. And you're not just putting tons and tons of content out there, and that it's in the right places. So, if you put out a blog post, make sure you're shouting about it on social and driving people to that blog content. Effective forms, so forms that are kind of like lean and get people to convert more. You've got the ideal number of form fields. It's not too big. Also, going down the kind of progressive lead form option as well to make it even more personalized and showing those forms at the right time. Landing pages, making sure that you have landing pages for your services or products or offers. You can also look at things like events or different resources you might be offering. There's lots of different types of landing page, so just making sure that you are utilizing landing pages and also put in those other elements in place on that, making sure they're effective. And then finally, promotion. So making sure that you're getting as much traffic as you possibly can to your website, and that, that again, by making sure your website is fantastic, along with your kind of marketing strategy and pay-per-click campaigns, you're going to maximize the amount of people that come into your website and the amount of people that are then converting into leads. So I hope you found that really useful. I just want to touch on some resources that we also have available here at WebBox. So one of those is the 23 must-haves for your website in 2023. So this will expand on some of the kind of elements that I've talked about today, and also have some other really good tips in terms of things like design and kind of like AI and chatbots and newer technologies. If you'd like a copy of this, please let me know and we can get that across to you. You can also download it off our website if you go to the documents page. So feel free to go ahead and do that. We also offer a free website or PPC audit. So if, again, looking at all these things that we talked about in terms of making sure your website is high converting, these are the kind of things that we look at when we audit your website. We can also do this from a PPC account perspective as well, and make sure that things are set up properly and are going to get you the maximum ROI. So if you're interested in that, again, if you go to the WebBox website, we have a link in the top right-hand side where you can fill out a form to request an audit, and I'll be in touch with you to action that and move it along. And thank you for listening. I hope you found that useful, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.